Hello again. Dr. Model Stein here reporting in. I hope that you have had an absolutely fantastic week so far. Who is excited about all the new releases arriving over the next week? Ha! There are so many good kits finally arriving this month. It is just great. I hope that you have them all reserved for you, because you know there is no greater feeling for a modeler than adding to the stash. Now then, tonight you will be hearing from the team from Fort Wayne who is hosting the National Convention this year. Do you have your hotel room booked yet? I sure hope you do. Otherwise, you will have to sleep in the hallway, because you have to be there. It is going to be an amazing show this year, and I am excited to hear all about it in just a few minutes. You know, Brandon and Jeff have been teasing this Nationals exclusive model kit for the past few weeks. Well, just so you know, it was my idea. That's right. I used my time machine to jump over to 1945 just to get the research that we needed to finish the project up. And seeing Keith's build-up progress pictures, oh my goodness, it is going to be a dandy! Now, just in case you are not into aircraft, or even this specific aircraft that we have planned, don't worry, because there are plenty of other goodies that will be available at the show. Some that you already know about, and some that you don't. And of course, we are excited to see you all in person too. If I can just convince the guys to let me come along, they seem to think I will steal the show or something. I can't imagine why they would think that. Well, I best be headed to the icebox to find my pickles and tea. Can't possibly watch Squadron's Wednesday Night Live without that.
Hey guys, welcome to Squadron's Wednesday Night Live. I can't believe it's Wednesday again, but yet here we are, and I appreciate you all being here. Tonight's going to be a lot of fun. We've got several guys from the Fort Wayne, Indiana team for the Nationals, the IPMS National Model Convention coming up in just a few weeks. They're backstage ready to tell you all about the show, and we'll jump into that in just a few moments. A couple of things to mention first. All sorts of goodies coming out this week. If you have not prepaid for your pre-orders, you probably received some invoices today. Lots of things coming in. Everything from the M24 Chaffee from Tamiya that we've been talking about, the Edward Catalina, which, by the way, is completely sold out. So if you did not get one pre-ordered, I'm sorry, but you're out of luck. So some of these things that we mentioned are limited edition and pre-order. Got to get your pre-order in. Make sure to do so. Hint, hint, 32 scale Mustang from Edward. That'll be the next one that's a sellout. Their pre-order window is closed. So the amount that we have on order, that's it. When they're gone, they're gone. And in the case of the Catalina, it is gone. But that one is coming. Frankenstein is finally arriving. For all you guys that have been waiting for that for a long time, just so many good kits. You might have seen last week we posted up a video of how the M24 goes together. And just to give you guys an idea of how big it is, there she is. Not a huge tank, but a good one nonetheless. It's a very quick build, and it builds up very, very nice. So make sure to get one of those on pre-order. Now, one unfortunate thing about the M24, I've got several of our local guys like Gary out there, who's probably watching, who have emailed us mentioning that they're planning on coming in Friday afternoon on release day to pick one of these up. Unfortunately, we're not going to have them Friday. It's going to be Monday. Our freight line called us and said that there was a delay somewhere here between here and the port, and it's going to be a day late. So if you were planning on stopping by our shop Friday to pick up your M24 Chaffee, please know that it will not be here Friday. It's going to be Monday. Now, the way that you will know that it is in fact here, even Monday, is as soon as we get them, if you chose in-store pickup for your pre-order, as soon as they're here, as soon as they come in the building, we're going to flip your order over to ready to pick up. You'll get an email. As soon as you get that email, you'll know that you're free to stop by the shop during business hours and pick that up. But that is what I know for now. Let me jump over in the chat and say a quick hello to you guys. Wayne, it's good to see you. Looks like Wayne's going to be in Fort Wayne in just a few weeks. And Danny, I don't even want to say what you're doing because it's going to make me hungry. Danny's always making good food, but it's good to see you anyway. EV asking about Borders P51 Mustang. Yes, it is brand new. You can pre-order it on our website. Just type in Border Mustang in the chat. In the search, and it'll come right up. It is pre-painted. It's got the wiring to do all the electrical stuff that you saw in their video. Should be a very good kit. Going to be exciting. Ken, good to see you tonight. Hey, Dave, patiently waiting on his M24. It's going to be a good one. Derek, good to see you from Tornado Alley. Hope all is well with you, buddy. Randy, good to see you tonight, working on a book review. Arnell, good to see you, my friend. And Al, Raymond, and Rex. Let's see, how many modelers are going to the IPMS Nationals from New Hampshire? Okay. That'll be interesting. Yeah, anybody, as we go through this evening, I know the guys that's going to be joining us here in just a minute, they're going to be very interested to know how many of you guys are coming. So throughout the night, drop in the chat if you're coming and where you're coming from. I know we'll all be interested to hear all about that. And I'm just going to go ahead and give a hello to everybody else. We got a lot to cover tonight, so we're going to go ahead and get to it. But I appreciate you all being here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my good buddy, El Jefe. How are you, buddy?
El Jefe. Hey,
Yeah.
yo soy El Jefe. Buenos dias, señor.
How are you tonight?
I am feeling a whole lot better than I was last week.
Well,
Boy,
that's
boy.
good. Well, when you're sick and then you're not, it's not a hard thing to feel a lot better.
Yeah, I think somewhere between last week and a couple of days ago, I think I either coughed up an internal organ or an alien life form. I'm not quite sure yet, but I was expecting to see Sigourney Weaver with a flamethrower coming to my rescue.
There you go.
But yeah, we're doing okay. We're good. Got a lot of exciting. Yeah, oh yeah, feel better. That could be the caffeine too.
There you go.
But yeah, we're working on a lot of stuff and getting all of the pre-nats craziness. All kinds of stuff happening.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we've been talking about forever, and perhaps not all of it, but a lot of it is finally coming to pass. We got here's our good buddy Ed asking about if anybody's got any experience with an ultrasonic knife, and we'll just say July 22 is going to be a big night for announcements for Squadron products.
Yeah. Yep.
It just a lot of things we've talked about before, a lot of things we haven't talked about. Should be a good night, Ed. But tonight, however, we've got a pretty big show to talk about. We talk about shows kind of all year long because there's a bunch of them we hit, and I think that every show that we go to, and then every show that our friends go to and tell us about, every show is a big deal in its own way. No matter if it's a show that's got 10 or 20 or 50 models that show up, all the way up to the biggest of the big. Every show's got its this little thing that people love that keep people coming back year after year. Having said that, there's not very many shows that can compare to the hugeness and the excitement of an IPMS national convention.
Or the work.
Or the work. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And like I said, not to belittle any other show, there's some other large shows out there. There's some other shows that I absolutely love going to. But when it comes to the IPMS National, this is a big deal for us at Squadron every year. I mean, there's no other show that we take a 52-foot trailer and a 20-foot trailer worth of stuff to. I mean, it's kind of a big deal for us. And everybody that watches the show knows Jeff has been in the exact same seat that these guys we're about to talk to have. Several of our guys in the chat, I mention Ed Grun all the time. He was head ship judge for years at that IPMS, and some of you other guys have kind of been there. You've helped on the board for some of these shows. You've been on the judging team, so some of us kind of know. But tonight we're going to come to this. We're going to talk to John Figueroa. He's kind of the chairman of this year's show, and he's got a great team behind him. And a few of those guys are joining us tonight. And we're going to talk about the IPMS Nationals almost from a perspective that if you have never heard about this show before, because the fact is, even though a lot of us have been there, done that, and we're going, there's a lot of guys that don't know what is involved, what to expect when you get there. And some guys that are like really good friends of mine that are amazing modelers, they're going this year for their very first time. So just because we've been there doesn't mean everybody else has. So tonight we want to let you guys kind of know what to expect if you've never been to an IPMS National. And if you have been, you'll get to know the specifics about what might be a little bit different this year.
Yep. It's sensory overload. If this is your first nationals, it's unlike anything that you've ever experienced before. No matter how much cash you bring with you, you're not going to have enough.
Yep.
And no matter how much time you plan, you never get to take it all in. You never get to go to all of the seminars that you want to go to. You never get to go on all the tours you want to go to. You never get to see. It's amazing. You can walk around that model room for all 4 days, and then you'll see photos and video walkthroughs after the show is over, and you'll say, how did I miss that model? I can't believe I missed that. How did I miss this entire, it's overwhelming. It's sensory overload in a very good way.
Oh yeah.
Prepare for it. The best nationals advice that I have ever seen right there. Bring comfortable shoes. Your feet will be sore. Your back will be sore. Your backside will be sore. You follow that old Army adage of you never stand when you can sit, and you never sit when you can lay down. So, any opportunity you get to park and take a 5-minute breather, that's an extra 2 laps around the vendor room.
Well, let's bring on the chairman himself, John Figueroa. How are you, John?
Hey guys, how you doing?
How are you, John?
We're doing good. And you've got several other guys that are joining us tonight. We got Dave Mason, we've got Brad, and we've got the man who goes by Fish Stick. And we've got the man hiding behind the curtain, Mr. John Fluck.
He's in witness protection right now.
So. Yeah, you can't see him, but I think we can hear him. Can we hear you, John?
I can hear you guys.
There you go. Well, guys, Jeff and I are kind of going to just sit back and listen to you. We might throw a few questions now and then, but you guys are the magic behind what's happening here in just a few weeks. So, John, I'm going to pass it over to you and kind of let you take lead. Tell us what to expect, what's going on, and then tell us what each one of these guys here with us, what their role is, and you guys just kind of give us the grand tour, if you will.
Okay. First, before I start, I want to thank you, Brandon and Jeff, for all you guys have done. You have been just outstanding partners and you just come through time and time again, and we really, really appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that. We appreciate what you guys do, what the whole IPMS organization does for models. I mean, it's a great time to be a modeler, and you guys have a good organization going on.
And I can honestly say I've been there and done that, and I know what you guys are going through, every single one of you, and whatever we can do to help, yeah, we're here for you.
You guys have done plenty. You guys have really stepped up, and we really appreciate it. Well, tonight we got Brad Schaefer, who is our volunteer coordinator. We've got Dave Mason, who is our treasurer. Fish Stick is our Tiger Meat coordinator, and John Fluck is our vendor coordinator. So we got pretty good representation. I'm very, very fortunate that I've got 13 people as my leads that are very competent, very, hard drivers. And so I want to, thank them also. What you guys were saying about an IPMS Nationals is absolutely correct. It's especially the first time, it's overwhelming. No matter how much you think you're gonna, what you expect, it's always full of surprises. But for me, my favorite part of the Nationals is seeing. There's a lot of people I see once a year, and that's at Nationals. And I consider them good friends. I talk to them on the phone or whatever, but they live in Seattle or San Diego or somewhere that's I don't go very often, so I get to see them once a year, and it's really nice. We were very fortunate to get the Grand Wayne Convention Center, which is right downtown Fort Wayne. The downtown Fort Wayne is only about 6 blocks by 7 blocks, so it's not big. You can walk it in 20 minutes one end to the other. Right across the street from the convention center is the Embassy Theater, which is where we're going to be holding our award ceremony. It's a beautiful theater it opened in 1928. It was actually Bob Hope's first MC gig was at the Embassy Theater.
Wow.
It's fully restored. It almost came under the wrecking ball in the 70s, and some activists basically chained themselves to the doors and stopped it from being torn down. And when I found out that that they were available and that they were affordable, that we could get within our budget, I was just over the moon, because it is an amazing place, and it's 2,500 seats, very close. It's 2,471, but everyone's going to have a comfortable place to sit. We got a big movie screen that we're going to be putting the slideshows on. It's going to be they've got. They'll have adult beverages there. They'll have popcorn and candy and sodas for the kids. It's going to be a nice night at the theater. Let me see. I'm not sure where I want to start, but I might as well just start from the beginning.
Well, that was pretty impressive right there. That sounds like it's going to be a very nice award ceremony.
Well, the award. I tell people all the time that for me, in my mind, I am positive that when people talk about the Fort Wayne Convention 5 years from now, the first thing that's going to come out of their mouth is, "Oh yeah, remember that theater that they had the award ceremony in?" Because it is. Nora and I both volunteer there, and it was actually one of the it ticked off one of the boxes on why we moved to Fort Wayne. It's just a beautiful, beautiful theater. Back 100 years ago, every town of any size had one or more of those theaters, but man, most of them are gone, and there's a handful left. And it's
to be honest,
a really amazing place.
At a national convention, that has always kind of been problematic as to where to house the awards ceremony to be able to seat everyone.
Yep.
In some instances they cut down the vendor room, early to make room for the banquet and the convention and the award ceremony and whatnot. We were fortunate. We had a reasonable sized theater with some overflow, but you guys having the ability to put, everybody in a seat is, that's definitely a perk. That's definitely a plus.
Yeah, like I said, I was very happy when we made that arrangement, when we found out that we are going to be able to get it, because like you, Jeff, and everyone does the best they can. Like we're not doing a banquet this year, and the truth of it is we just didn't have room.
Right.
For the convention center's about 76,000 square feet, which is
Right.
it's okay. It's not humongous. It's not like Chattanooga's, got 100,000 square feet, and other places got a lot, but there have been smaller ones, so we're okay in size. We've got a 50,000 square foot room that we're dividing in half with an air wall. So 25,000 square feet will be the contest room, and 25,000 square feet will be the vendor room. We've got like 428 vendor tables, and I think, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've sold 422 of them, of the 428. Go ahead, John.
We do have 428. That's correct.
So, back when I have been working on this for over 4 years. Steve Bacon, who is my vice chair, and he couldn't be with us tonight. He had some other obligations he had to take care of, family obligations. So we were talking once, and he told me, he says, I really want to do a nationals. And I said, yeah, so do I. So we started looking at what it would take, and we looked at Indianapolis, because we figured that was probably the best place to start. But man, were we wrong. It was crazy expensive. The facilities were expensive. The hotel rooms were like $265 a night with $55 a night parking. And I told Steve, I said, who's going to go? I said, I wouldn't go, not for those prices. So I told him, I said, we've got a place in Fort Wayne. I said, and the first time I was ever in that facility, I leaned down to Nora, my wife, and I told her, I said, this would be an awesome place for a convention.
That's exactly what happened to us at Madison.
Well, you guys lucked out at Madison, because you lost your venue, and you bounced back with that Monona Terrace. Which,
well, what's funny is that long about the time that you started, long about the time that we had this epiphany that we were going to do a nationals, was when I started talking to you and John and a couple of the other guys about, so you've been collaborating, and even you guys were even kind of brainstorming with us early on that, you were going to put this whole thing together, and it's great to see it come to fruition. But you've been working on it longer than we worked on Madison.
Well, the reason that we did was because we had a false start. We were going to go up against Madison, bid against Madison for the 24 convention.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, it fell through. We decided we were going to do it. We talked with the then second VP, John Bonani, and he said, yeah, go for it. He says, we still got, like 3 weeks before the bids are due. So I spent every waking moment I had putting a bid together, and I had a decent bid together. We took it to our club, and the club turned us down because, I would have done the same thing if I were them. We went to the meeting and we said, we need an answer tonight. We can't even wait till next month, the next meeting. And there were just too many unanswered questions. And one of the biggest ones was, what's the effort? Because I didn't know. I've never done this before, and it's hard to find out because all the venues are so different, So how many man hours does it take to run a convention? I had no idea, and I couldn't explain that to our club. So they turned us down. So Steve and I kind of regrouped, and we said, well, where did we go wrong? What did we do? And one of the things was the manpower situation. So I told him, I said, you know what? Let's go and try and get 10 clubs from Region 4 to join in and do this. So I spent about a year going. Well, I went to 15 different club meetings in a year, all over Region 4, and 11 of the clubs, bit the hook and said, "Yeah, we want to do this." So we've got 11 clubs together that are doing this, and that allows smaller clubs. We've got some clubs that are fairly small. We've got some big clubs, but this allows the smaller clubs to help also, and share a little bit in the profits. But we're gonna split everything up based on effort. Whoever does the most hours is going to get the most money. So,
Right.
But it doesn't exclude the smaller clubs, because all we're asking is a minimum of 50 hours for any club. And if you
you
do
and I
50
both
hours,
know
you're going to
that
get something.
you and I
Right?
both know we did that in the first week.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Well, we're talking about execution hours now. We're not talking
Yeah.
about, what with the guys on the screen here, these
Yeah.
guys have put in hundreds, if not thousands of hours, over the
I,
last, 3 years, trying to get this thing going together.
I think a lot of
So,
people kind of, unless they've done a nationals before, a lot of people have no concept of what goes into it. And even if you run a local show, a one-day show at a VFW or a church hall or a middle school gymnasium, imagine that times 100. Because and then all of the other things that you have to factor in. It's not just running a model contest. It's parking, and it's handicap services and accessibility, and it's hotels and block rates, and it's taxes and invoices and going to the state government, because you got vendors coming in from out of country and out of state, and there are different tax laws. And I mean, there's just 1,001 things that go on behind the scenes that the convention goers never ever even see or know about.
Well, and I think that what you just said, tonight is kind of a see behind the curtains night, but I think the goal is to where the convention goers, they never have to know that.
Right.
They get to show up, and if you've done a good job, they get to show up and have a great time, and everything is, everything's ready for those guys to come through the doors.
So, John, have you had anybody complain about the color of the carpeting yet, or the fact that they're not going to come?
Not that specific complaint, but I've had some conversations that made me scratch my head.
Yeah, I'm not going to come to Indiana because that's where the Colts are, and I'm a diehard Philadelphia fan, and it's just the stuff that comes out of the woodwork is just hilarious sometimes.
Well, you see it in the after action reports too. I mean, they're almost hysterical. All the comments about these guys bitching about this and that, and it's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, I had one guy who said he wasn't gonna. I had two guys. One guy said he was staying home because he didn't like the color of the carpeting, or he didn't like the color of the flooring in the vendor room. And then another guy calls me up and says that he's a Dallas Cowboys season ticket holder, and he refuses to come to Wisconsin because he doesn't want to set foot in enemy territory, even though the Lambeau Field is like 3 hours north, of where we are. Just the craziest
it's the same
things.
state, Jeff. You're missing the point.
It's just just the craziest stuff. But you have those in a lot of instances, and I hope that you guys have had them. But in a lot of those instances, some of the stuff is so laughable that it provides an entertainment value. And then I can say from my experience, I kind of, wielded the iron hammer, and I got so many messages and so many emails from people saying, just 6 more months, just 3 more months, 1 more week, just hang in there. You'll get through it. And but the support that comes from the membership is often it far outweighs any negativity that you might get from people over whatever is setting them off that day. So I hope you guys have experienced that too.
John, real quick, you got a guy asking, do you need tickets for the award show?
No.
And yep. Okay. Good.
You gotta have to. You bring your badge, show your badge, you walk in the door.
Awesome. Very good.
So, but Jeff, you beat me to the punch because I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, I've got some things that I looked at and said, really?
Oh yeah.
But for every one of those, I've gotten hundreds of people that call me and talk to me, and it just makes it worthwhile. I've been telling people for years and years and years that the reason that I love IPMS, I love the hobby, is 90% of my friends are modelers.
Right.
I mean, it's for me, it's it's more about community than anything else, because I love building models, and I love the kits and all the history around them and the stories around them. But you can't have a relationship with a hunk of plastic.
Correct.
The relationships are with people, and
when do you feel the dynamic?
People in this hobby.
When do you feel that dynamic changed? Because I absolutely agree with you 100%. There was a point in time when I went to the national convention for the contest. I never went to the national convention for the vendor room because I was always dirt poor and couldn't afford to spend a whole lot of money there anyway. But at some point, and I can't really put my finger on it as to when, the impetus for going to the national convention shifted from the event itself to coming together with our community, as you put it.
I think that's a personal thing for people. I think it happens because I could tell the same story.
Right.
My first convention, or first two conventions, I was all about the convention. But then I met I met people. I started talking to people outside of the convention. We on a Saturday, I'd call someone a friend in Arizona that I met, or Florida, or someplace, and we'd talk. Right. And so for me, it happened real quick. But for some people, it may not happen as quick, And but I think eventually people get around to it, and they say, you know what, it's the people. It's all about the people.
Yeah.
If you really boil it down.
And Jeff, one of the things I think that is an example of how it has shifted is the emphasis now, not emphasis, but having the tiger meet there. Right. You don't have to put a model in competition. You get to show your models and talk to people and have people, razz you about your model. So,
right. That was one of the reasons for coming up with the idea for Madison and making it something official. And disclosure here, in putting my IPMS hat on at the time, I said, we know about the convention. We go to the convention. But how do we, because we're always talking about bringing modelers into the organization and growing the organization. Well, we have, the greatest spectacle in the hobby, once a year, and we never really offer any form of incentive for people to come and participate without getting their membership money. And for me, creating Tiger Meet was an opportunity to get that guy who, may have been an anti-IPMSer, or, he had mixed feelings about belonging to an organization, giving him the opportunity to come in, put his work on the table, socialize, be a part of the group, and give us the opportunity to win him over. And I'm really glad that, Virginia did it. I'm really glad that you guys are running with it and doubling down on it. And I'm hoping that, that it's something that,
Jeff, I think it's cemented in now, so it's going to be a part of nationals.
So if anybody ever asks, what did Hearn ever do for the organization, you can say he gave us the Tiger Meet.
Well, fish stick, that's kind of your deal this year. You want to touch on that for a minute since we're on the topic?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get started, Brandon, again, thanks for having us tonight.
Absolutely.
I don't know how many people out there in Cyberland know what it is, and I know there's going to be some people that are going to watch this on YouTube afterwards. Yeah, the history of the tiger meat started in Madison, and the way I got kicked into it was just kind of as an assistance role, and some travel plans that went down, and Jeff's is like, "Hey, I need some help." I said, "Give me the diagram, I've got it," and I had a blast. It was really, really a good thing. But what I noticed about the tiger meet is it brought conversation.
Yeah.
It brought modelers together. Not so much to talk about their winning model and all their greatness, but their build techniques, the questions back and forth. And it was a great social event in Madison. And again, it was carried over in Virginia. And when we looked at it, we wanted it to be a feature more than something on the side, like, hey, we're going to do this. We want it to be a feature of the convention. We want people to bring their models, not just for the competition, but we want to have modelers there without the pressure of competition. And really it was, how do we do it and how do we do it right? And Jeff's staff left us a really, really good example of what right looks like. The Virginia guys did a very, super outstanding job. And, so how do we continue that on? And, we decided that promotion was going to be the big thing. We got to promote it, let people know what it is that's out there. So this is where I'm going to put a plug in for everybody watching this. As an individual, as a club, as a group build, as a special interest group, you can hit me up at fishstickkj@gmail.com. We'll get you accommodated. Most of my tables are taken, and that's a huge thing to know, how many people are coming in advance and how many tables we need, which is great. It's display only. It's conversation. It's part of the convention. And Jeff, you had mentioned something about, cementing it in. We've had some meetings with IPMS, and there are now going to be 2 recognition awards added to the Tiger Meet. Those 2 recognition awards are paid for the next 12 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
Once we pass off to somebody else, I'll actually go get the plaques and get them. They're in my pickup truck. I picked them up a couple of days ago. But what we're doing is we're doing recognition awards. And from what I understand on Tiger Meat history, when it was introduced at your convention, the Tiger Meat name came from a play off of the NATO Tigers.
Correct.
And if I read that correctly, we went online and we kind of looked at what they were about and what they do. And if anybody likes airplane history, that's something kind of cool to look at. Not in my bag, but I needed some data. So the NATO Tigers give away 2 awards every year. And one is called the Silver Tiger Award. The other one is called the Tiger Spirit Award. And we are introducing the Silver Tiger and the Tiger Spirit Award. One is for chapters and one is for special interest group participation.
Excellent.
The award itself, giving to the chapter or the special interest group, will be a certificate that they can take home. But their name will be placed on a perpetual plaque that's got 12 slots on it. The certificates, foundation, and the format to fill them out will go with the Tiger Meet to the next convention, along with the 2 perpetual plaques. So each year, those names will be added. So for the next 12 years, for sure, those 2 awards will be handed out. And, as we talk about it, most people talk about, awards as something being judged. That's not what this is. This is a participation, display, putting on a good show for your fellow modelers and getting some sort of recognition for it. So we've introduced that. We still have plenty of room for individuals to bring their models. For anybody that's coming, you don't have to tell me you're going to be there. Just check in with me at the table there at the Tiger Meet, or one of my representatives. They'll be there with a laptop computer. They'll get the information. They'll tell you what table to display on, set your model down, fill out the model sheet that we give you so we know whose it is, and go enjoy the convention or hang around and chit chat. It's up to you. But, even with the Tiger Meet, like you said, Jeff, they're not going to be able to take it all in.
Right. And Fish Stick, just you gave all the rules. What about the price?
Price for what?
Exactly. It's absolutely free to enter the Tiger Meet.
Absolutely. I don't know. We're not charging for that. We are modelers, and you don't I don't think you necessarily have to be an IPMS member. We're not even requiring that. If you show up to the convention for one day and you want to bring your model for that day while you go check out the vendors, you're absolutely welcome to do so.
Now, just so they understand, you do have to buy a day pass to get into the convention, but the Tiger Meet is no additional charge.
Absolutely. Once you're in the convention, you are part of that Tiger Meet just as well as anyone else.
Very cool.
And that was part of the strategy to try to entice folks and convince folks that what we're doing is that the organization is we're a good bunch of guys to hang out with. I think IPMS has gotten a bad rep over the years from some outside influences who they think that all we do is airplanes, or that all we do is count rivets or whatever. So we're not that bad a bunch. So this is a great opportunity to come in and kind of test the waters and put your stuff on the table and rub elbows with some of the best in the business.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Jeff. At Two Hands, can we get a copy of the forms in advance? No. Sorry, man. We're gonna pen and ink them as they come in. Yeah. And the reason being is our webmaster Chris has done yeoman's work putting that website together and getting it functional and making it work the way we want it to work, and keeping it updated. And he's had some medical things go on in recent history that he's still recovering from. And I'm not going to ask much more of him than what he's already given. Like I said, he's done yeoman's work. However, at Two Hands, I will talk with John and see if that may be something we want to put up there. And if so, I'll let Brandon know and he can send it out to his audience too. Yep, absolutely. But right now, I think I'm going to lean on the pen and ink, but that may change. If you want to drop an email address in the chat box to me, I'll at least write it down. And if I do come up with something, I'll email you directly.
Yep. And Fish Tech, I've got Two Hands email, so I can hook you two guys up afterwards. But if that is something that you guys decide to do, just let me know, and I'll put that form up available on our website too, so everybody can have it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I didn't think about doing that, but it almost makes sense.
Well, that's what we all talk, while we talk. Sometimes you hear some ideas that you didn't think of. So
yeah, like doing awards for Tiger Meet. I didn't think of it.
Hey, that's just one of those things. It's kind of the nature of the beast. Yep. Every year, I mean, you guys, you want to outdo Virginia, and Huntsville, I'm sure they're going to be looking to outdo you guys. Whoever gets it the year after that's going to be looking to outdo Huntsville. It's just natural, So, but the good thing is the Tiger Meet will live on, and each club year after year is probably going to try to, improve it a little bit better as it goes along. So it'll be a very cool thing to see over the next few years.
I don't think many of us have looked at it in that light, as far as outdoing. But as far as the Tiger Meet concerned, as a convention planning committee, we wanted to make it permanent.
Yep.
And that was the thing for me was, what can I do to make it permanent? Because it's such a good thing, to have people around. And that was really what was the question, and the 2 awards is just a small introduction. And being that this is the 3rd year of the Tiger Meet, there's so much room for growth, so much room for ideas. And, it getting better is going to be so fluid as the future conventions come. And I think the guys that are taking over, the convention after us are excited about what they're going to inherit from us. And I think they're going to do great things also.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'll mention one last thing and then we'll move on to another topic. But one of the other cool things for me about the Tiger Meet, and I hope that we see this more and more going forward, is past IPMS winners, their model is retired from competition, but not from the Tiger Meet. I would love to see some of the past winners, because last year, yeah, I saw that model during the show, but during the show, it was just a really good model. Now I know it's the one that won the show. I'd love the opportunity to see it again. Tiger Meet allows you to bring those retired models back for people to see the past winners again. So it's going to be a neat thing.
And again, something else to add to my things to do list is to add a past winners table specifically for that.
Right.
And hold on a minute. I'm going to write that down. Because I may have the table space to do that this year. So again, thank you so much, Brandon. Let's get on. And like I said, if anybody has any questions about the Tiger Meet, you at the IPMS website, hit the fishtickKJ@gmail.com, send me a direct email. If you go to the region coordinator for Region 4, you'll find some contact data. You can reach me that way also.
Very good. Well, let's move on. There's a few other pretty major topics. We've got all sorts of things like, your volunteer help. You always need more volunteers. Talk to us a little bit about that. Whichever one of you, Dave, Brad, we hadn't heard from you yet. Brad, tell us what we can do to help.
Sure. So I'd like to first start, though, a little bit of background of my modeling experience. And I've had this conversation with Brandon at a prior national convention. I grew up on the northwest side of Detroit. I'm like 10 years old. And the way that I got started in modeling is that one of my neighbors 5 houses down decided to start a hobby shop, and he called it the Squadron shop. So if all the guys, and I used to pedal my bike there to the Squadron shop. So if everybody on this conversation today, I will guarantee you, I am the earliest customer of the Squadron shop. So
that's awesome.
So then, I have this conversation with John. And it's like, what role would you want? I'm thinking about, maybe this volunteer coordinator, this sounds kind of cool. And so we go to Madison. Now, remember, we haven't been voted in yet because we get voted in for our convention wins at Madison. I know no one. I talk to somebody, in there. I say, can you hook me up with the president of this, convention and all that? They take me over to Jeff. I explained my circumstance to Jeff. I said, look, I'm probably going to be the volunteer coordinator in 2 years. Could you hook me up with your volunteer coordinator so that, I can get some experience here? Jeff takes me over to the table, introduces me to John Kruger. He takes me under his wing. I work the entire Madison show, and I learn everything that I need to do to be the volunteer coordinator. And it's kind of like what John was talking about. It's this camaraderie. It's this companionship of guys that, all have, similar interests. The way that I explained it to my wife coming in from Virginia last year, she said, so how was it? I said, I was with a bunch of guys who spoke my language.
Yep.
And, that's like the coolest thing for me in the world. So one of the things I can tell you, a couple of things I can tell you about the volunteer positions is that because of the number of clubs involved, because we are divvying up the money based on volunteer hours, and because we've really marketed this convention a lot more than some of the other conventions. We're close to 1,000 pre-registrations now, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
That we're pretty good. You know, we have a really good number of volunteer slots filled right now. We're over 80%. But
Wow.
for those of you on the fence who have not gotten on and haven't volunteered for a slot, let me explain to you that this convention is a little unique in that we have two different convention logos. There's one logo that is on the convention shirt. There's a second logo, the real cool logo, that is only on the volunteer shirt. And we don't call them volunteers, we call them staff. So if you want one of the real cool t-shirts for free, you know, pass go, don't collect your $200, get on the website and find one of the slots that's still open, sign up for it. And we only have a few days left for guaranteeing your shirt size. So if you're going to do this, do it in the next 3 or 4 days, because next week I've got to get my t-shirt order in to John July 1st. We have all kind of things to do. Some are seated, some you'll have to stand. You know, some you can play your little Hitler if you want to, you know, play in the contest room and tell people where their models have to go. But you know, I volunteered for the last 2 conventions. I think it's a real worthwhile thing to do. And we could certainly use your help, because as Brandon said, you know, these conventions can't go on without all of the volunteers. The only other thing that I'd like to say about our convention, I'm going to put in a little plug for myself. 2 years ago, I did a Band of Brothers tour, 2-week Band of Brothers tour of Europe through the World War II Museum. We actually had 2 of the actors from the miniseries. I'm going to be doing a seminar on that, 2-hour seminar on Thursday. I think it's at 10 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. It's totally free. And, you know, if you're into World War II history, it's going to be a really cool thing to see. I've got, you know, 110 PowerPoint screens, photos galore of where we went, just as you would have seen in the miniseries.
Very
Very
nice.
cool.
Very
I'll
nice.
have to share my Bill Garnier and Babe Heffron story with you when we're at the convention.
Oh, and I've got a Bill Garnier story too.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, there you go, guys. If you're going to be at the show and you would be willing to help out, it's very cool, because not only do you help turn this show into what it's going to be, you also get a little bit more of the behind the scenes. You get to see what goes on. You know, get a little bit of early access. You get to see some of the things that you don't otherwise get to see or do. And at the end of the day, when this show is proclaimed a success, which it will be, you get to say you were a part of that. So it's going to be really cool. You guys jump on board, get in touch with Brad, and help out in any way. That even the smallest, even if you can only be there for a couple of hours one day, I promise you they can use your help, and it would be greatly appreciated.
And the website does have an email that goes directly to me. I forget what it is, but it's like 2026 volunteer coordinator or something like that. So if you have any questions, just volunteer or email me directly.
Yeah.
All right.
I will put my devil's advocate hat on here, having been there, done that. And I say this to anyone who is considering volunteering. If you don't volunteer, then that empty volunteer slot that you were on the fence about perhaps filling falls on one of the convention staff, or it falls on your fellow convention goers. The job doesn't, if they need 8 people to do something in the course of a day and only 4 people show up, then inevitably those 4 people end up doing either a double shift, or it falls on the guys who were putting the convention together. to pick up the slack. Those jobs don't just miraculously disappear. They still have to be done. So if you're on the fence about it, it is a great opportunity. It's not a huge obligation. And it does build a camaraderie, because I had people that called me when I was doing Madison, and they said, I'm volunteering 2 of the 4 days of the convention, but I have to do this specific job because that's the job that I have done for the last 12 conventions. And we're a team, and we know everybody, and the volunteers form their own little communities of doing a specific job. So it makes a whole lot more, it has a whole lot more impact on it, on the success of the convention than you would think.
And you're going to see all the gold shirts, guys who are not working, but they're going to be in the contest room. They're going to be in the vendor rooms buying stuff. They're going to keep their gold shirts on. You don't have to, but past experience, they keep the gold shirts on because they want to show that they're part of the show.
It's free decor.
There you go. There you go. Well, Dave, what about you, buddy? Over on the marketing side, are you getting a lot of response like you were hoping? I mean, are you from your side of things? Are we going to have a ton of people coming through the door? I mean, what are you seeing over there on your side?
Well, we're doing real good on the pre-registrations, and the only challenge I have is telling John and a few others, no, they can't spend any more money. It's a full-time job.
I imagine.
Yep. You are actually and whoever is do you have a dedicated like comptroller, registrar type person? Like John knows our guy was Merrick Rogel. He was the conductor of the train, the crazy train that was Madison. But the guys, again, and this falls right back onto the volunteer conversation. There are a lot of extremely important jobs that the people don't see. The convention goers don't see. They need a treasurer. Oh yeah. 'Cause it's a full-time job. Basically, like you said, telling us that, no, we can't spend any more money.
Well, the treasurer job is changing quite a bit. It's getting from the full 2, 3, however long you're planning it, to closer to the show and the show itself with all the electronic money transfers. You're just keeping track.
Yeah.
And it's actually not that stressful of a job until the convention.
Yeah. And then at the end, all of the reconciliations and everything, and balancing the books and all that stuff. I know Mike Oberholzer has really kind of grabbed the bull by the horns in that regard the last few years. And has really, he's kind of stepped up and
Yep. He's helped quite a bit. Apparently I was overthinking it, making more work than necessary. He says, you don't need all that. We got all this right here. Just fill in the blanks. And it makes it easy. It's, I've done a few other things. It's some of the flyers and ads and stuff I tried. They used them, so they must have been acceptable.
Right.
You did a great job, Dave.
Everything I've seen, I like.
Yeah.
It's
Dave, you want to talk about the seminars also?
Yep. I just had one more thing on the volunteering. At Madison, I volunteered for helping load in the vendors, and the group of people that you get to meet and hang around with and become friends with. Like Steve Mansell, we got to be great friends.
Yeah.
I think I had more fun volunteering than a lot of the other things that I did at the conventions.
Yeah.
And if you want to become a better modeler, you have to go to these, just talking with the other people, asking them how they did it. It's one of the few shows that everybody is willing to tell you what they did.
Right.
And I think I've become a little bit better modeler. I don't build any faster, but I do a little better job.
I would say, Dave, rather than they're willing to tell you what they did, most of them outright want to tell you what they did.
Yeah, some of the local shows in 20 years ago, people were pretty tight-lipped, and some of them, once they get talking, that's a challenge to walk away then. On the seminars, we've got, if it's your first show or you only been back into modeling, a few years, we've got beginner stuff all the way through the advanced. For those that actually finish models, if you want to take photographs, we've got a few seminars on how to get them, the lighting and the angles and stuff, so you can submit them to magazines. There's, if you don't have anything, a clue on Gundam, we've got a couple beginning seminars on getting into the Gundam gunplay genre. Diorama, weathering, and painting aircraft, to just about anything. There's something there that can help you, making masks on their cricket and silhouette cutters. There's 5 pages of seminars on the website. You can find something, even the 3D printing side of things. Now we've got a few seminars on that stuff, since that's pretty cemented into model building now. Everybody thinks they want a 3D printer. At least we can get you to find out that that's a whole nother hobby in itself.
Yep. And it's not just press, print, and go. There's a whole lot to it, a whole lot more to it than that.
And it's just as addictive as collecting models.
And Dave, before we leave you, you want to talk about the decal sheets too? You were integral in that.
Yeah, we every year there's always aircraft and a few military subjects, and since we're trying to be the different convention, we have some commercial automotive subjects, since it's Fort Wayne's the home of International for 60 years until they got bought out, moved, and we have a international theme on our special awards. We did there's decals for the Scouts, Travel All, semis, a lot of the automotive hot rod, the gauge packages. That'll be included in, along with aircraft and the standard decals that are normal. Those should be here in time to actually put them in the bags.
Fingers crossed. We did them the night before.
It all comes together.
It's amazing how quickly, and I'm sure you guys have experienced the same thing. You're juggling so many different things, and then all of a sudden, you're a month out, and everything just starts to coalesce. Everything just kind of falls into place, and it all just comes together. It's really wild how that seemed to happen for us. I'm hoping it happens for you guys.
You and me too, brother.
We're not there yet.
Well, Dave, you mentioned the goodie bag. John, do you want me to show them what it's going to look like this year?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we made the goodie bags last year for the first time. Squadron did. And we liked doing it so much that we decided we'd do it again this year. And this is what we came up for you guys. I hope you like it.
What's up?
So there are, I don't have one here with me at the moment. I forget how big they are, but they're big. If any of you guys got one from the last year's Nationals, these bags are bigger than last year.
And Brandon, that's the cool logo that's on the volunteer shirt.
All right. Well, there you go. So you need to volunteer so you can get a shirt, so you can stick your shirt inside the goodie bag. Let's see if I can
put it on your back.
Yeah. So that's one side of it. And then the other side, of course, we've got to do something a little bit more our flavor. So that's the other side of the bag. And to show you how big this bag is and how much stash you can put in it, here's one of the sides of the bag. And we even put the word stash bag on there. It's a big bag. And Fish Stick, this is our logo for our build group for your tiger meat this year. We're inviting people to bring P-47s for the Squadron build group. And hopefully everybody shows up that says they're going to come. And if they do, we're going to have several tables worth of P-47s for your tiger meat. So it should be a good display.
I need to take a week's vacation to finish mine.
Oh gosh, but yeah, that's those are the goodie bags. It's going to be cool. I'm excited to send those up to you. You'll have them sometime next week, so get ready to fill them up full of whatever goodies you guys have to put in them this year.
Well, thank you, Brendan. And this is what I was talking about. You guys stepping up. You guys just did a excellent job on those.
Well, we're happy to do it. Now, before we bring this to an end, we've got to hear from the man behind the curtain down there, John Fluck. If you're still there, and I mean, see, we can't see you, so if you went to sleep on us, we wouldn't even know.
Right. I dozed off every time Jeff started talking. I dozed off a little bit.
Wow, nice, very nice. Well, John,
thanks, buddy.
Tell us a little bit about your vendors. And you mentioned having over 400 tables already sold. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty fantastic turnout, and sounds like there ought to be more than enough for people to come spend all their money on. Well,
to begin with, thanks again, Brandon, for having us on. I am the vendor coordinator this year. I didn't know I was going to be the vendor coordinator when we first started this off. I thought I was going to have a different job. But Mr. Figueroa said, I want you to be my vendor coordinator. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of work. We had a lot of stuff to take care of. We have a total of 428 vendor tables.
Nice.
Right now, there's maybe a few left. But I'm going to work off a waiting list if we have it, because every once in a while there's a cancellation, and I want to make sure that all our tables are full. Squadron is basically our lead vendor. They will be in the big room.
All right.
We have 3 vendor rooms. We have the first is our big one. That is actually 24,360 square feet of vendors.
Nice.
We have the Anthony Wayne room, which is 10,000 square foot of vendors. And then the Harrison finishes it up with 6,420 square feet of vendors. And going back to table wise, the big room has 260 tables. The Anthony Wayne room has 103 tables, and the Harrison room has 65 tables. So we're right now. I don't know. I have to finish the work I started earlier this afternoon. We may have a couple tables left, and I'm always going to work off a waiting list in case we have any cancellations.
Right.
So the total number of vendors, I believe, is at 98 right now. So
there you go.
But
John, you want to talk about the connecting the two, the Harrison and the Anthony Wayne room also?
Yeah. One of the things that we had is the Anthony Wayne and the Harrison room were like right next to each other. And in between them is a service hallway. And we actually had to pay for a security guard so that we could have the doors open between the two rooms. When we found out we couldn't use that service hallway, I got with John Figueroa, and we were able to work it out with the Grand Wayne. So that will be open. Easy access if you want to go from one to the other. We've got Brandon, Edward, Tamaya, and Spray Gunner, and all kinds of vendors in the big room. Well, I take that back. Round 2 is in the Anthony Wayne room. But we will be posting a list of all the vendors and their table numbers when probably right after July 4th.
Okay.
So, because if by chance somebody has to cancel, we may have to move people around. So we want to keep that option available. But 428 tables. I don't think that's the most that a convention's ever had, but it's a lot to pick from. And Brandon, Brandon Squadron's going to be our big vendor. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting all the vendors.
Well, if you can't find something to buy in over 400 vendor tables, then you might not be a modeler.
That's for darn sure. That's for darn sure. I told my wife how much money I was bringing, and she's like, "You're not buying all that stuff." And I'm like, "Am I?" Now,
John, hold on. You did what? You told your wife how much money you're bringing to the show? Yep.
Actually, I got a great lady and she's like, you buy what you want, just build something. So,
I do too, but there's state secrets that there's a modeler's bro code here that I actually tell her I spend a lot of money on the raffle, and everything that I bring home I won in the raffle. So
I did that too and got asked why they're all consecutive numbers.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention, you were talking about volunteers and stuff. I volunteered and I was helping up at Madison, and we were bringing the vendors in, and I would keep my eye out for stuff. And I was looking for one certain model up there, and one of the vendors had it, and the vending room wasn't open to the public, but it was open to the volunteers to help out. And I went up to that vendor and I said, "Hey, can I buy that right now?" And he said, "Sure." So that could be, if you wanna volunteer for helping us move vendors in. I think there's a few spots open yet, but that's a great way to get a little bit of a jump on the other guys.
That is insider trading at its finest.
There you go, Brad.
I plead guilty to that as well, because I got a new airbrush that had just hit the market in Hampton doing the exact same thing.
Well, see, Brad, there's your marketing for getting volunteers. You're not allowed to buy anything before showtime unless you're wearing one of the gold shirts.
Yeah.
That's your ticket to early shopping.
And in my circumstance, the vendor said, "Well, I can't technically take money right now," but he pulled it off and he put it behind. And as soon as the vendor room opened, I just gave him cash, and I had this brand new airbrush that hit the market. So
there you go. Well, Fish Stick,
we do need volunteers on
Yes, sir.
Saturday before we close up. There may be vendors that don't want to haul stuff home. You might.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Well, Fish Stick, show us what you went out to your truck and brought something in. So we gotta give you a moment to show us what you have.
As mentioned, we got the perpetual plaques for the Tiger Spirit and the Silver Tiger recognition, and that's what they're going to look like. Let me get my camera there. Just perpetual plaques. They got 12 slots, So at least for the next 12 years, these will be at every Tiger meet. And like I said, the winners will get a certificate, and then the names will start going on the little tabs.
Very cool.
So it was, we were looking for a way to, like I said, solidify it as part of the convention. We wanted to, we didn't just want to do a Tiger meet and not maybe have one in the future. Not that I think that was going to happen, but there's going to be, participation in the Tiger meet is growing annually. And, and it's time for some sort of recognition to come out of it. And, hopefully to incentivize more special interest groups, more chapters, and more individuals. And, if the numbers of models and the number of participants continue to grow, then we have grounds to go back to the IPMS and say, hey, look, this has worked out so well. We should probably add 2 more so that we can include the individuals or include the build off groups like you're doing.
Okay.
So, it, like I said, it gives it room to grow. It gives it a reason to stay. And the IPMS walks away better. The IPMS membership walks away better. And then I feel better about myself because I was able to contribute something long term.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Well, John Figueroa, what about your registration? We got one of the guys, Bill, in the chat asking, what's the last day to pre-register? And then besides just the pre-registration cutoff, what about we've talked a lot about the Tiger meet, but what about the actual contest itself, your main show theme, special category? Touch on just a little bit of the main contest.
Okay. First off, you talked about cost a little bit before. The pre-registration will close on the last day will be the 30th of June. It's $55 until the 30th of June, and if after pre-registration closes, then you can still register for the contest and everything at the convention, but it's going to go up to $65. So if you're going to go now, you can save, $10 by registering early.
Okay.
The other thing that I did want to mention was on cost is the day passes. They're $15 a day, and that's for an individual or for a family, because we want families to come, especially around the area here, get people to come in just to see what the hobby's about. So we don't want to, penalize a family with, a $60, entrance fee, so the general admission, $15. And like I said, it's individual or family. The other thing I would like to mention about is our raffle.
Oh yeah.
The raffle is going to be very special. We threw a lot of money at the raffle, a lot of seed money, and in fact, the raffle coordinator told me that they were going to have about $600 left over, come in under budget, and I told them no. I said, I don't want to come in under budget. We budgeted the money, spend it. I said, if you don't know what to spend it on, go buy $600 worth of Gundam kits. I said, because I want our Gundam friends to know that we're serious about, reaching out and embracing all modelers of all genres. We're going to be taking credit cards at the raffle, and the tickets are barcoded. So when you buy a ticket and you drop it in the box, if it's drawn, they shoot it with a barcode reader. It goes up onto a website on the list where you can look at it on your phone. You could be at home looking at it. You could be in the model room or at a restaurant eating dinner. And you can look at all the winners, the raffle winners. So the raffle's going to be, I think, very, very well received. And you had one other question, and lost track of it now.
I don't know. I'm bad at that, asking too many questions all at once. Your overall show theme, your special award.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, our overall theme was
And Dave mentioned it a little bit when he was talking about the decals, but elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, Crossroads of America was our theme, but every convention gets to pick 5 theme awards, and we talked about this, and we had a lot of deep conversations in our planning meetings, and we decided that we wanted to throw some love to traditionally kind of under appreciated genres. So we've got first thing, the big one that for me is Happy Birthday America. It's the semi sesquicentennial, and it's like a month before the convention. So it's a theme award for figures. It's any American or British Revolutionary War soldier, or any founding father, or any kind of vignette or diorama that contains those figures. We've got the 110th anniversary of the Battle of Jutland. There were 250 some odd ships at the Battle of Jutland, largest naval battle ever. But we wanted to broaden it up, and I didn't want to either have to have somebody say, "Oh, that's a good ship," it was in the battle. So we're saying any British or German World War I naval vessel is going to qualify for that.
Okay.
We've got International Harvester. It's Trucktown, USA. International Harvester. Any International Harvester. There's lots of kits out there. Cement trucks, semis. There's the Scouts. There's a lot of kits out there that'll qualify for that. The 60th anniversary of Star Trek. Any vehicle in the whole Star Trek franchise is eligible for that. And the last one, help me, Dave. What's the last one we got?
RX-78-2.
Oh yeah, Gundam. Yes, of course. Okay, it's called Back to the Beginning. Now, I don't know anything about Gundam. I'll put that out there right now. So what I did is I contacted a guy that runs a Gundam group out in California, and we talked for a while. I told him what we were trying to do, and that we're trying to reach out to the Gunpla community. And he told me, he says, RX-78. He said it was the original Gundam. He said there's been many variants, many kits, many scales. So he said that would be a very good thing to go. So we called it Back to the Beginning RX-78. And those are our 5 theme awards. Now, we do also have some other awards that people have, they're purchasing their own trophies to give out these awards. And my wife, Nora, and I have done one. I was in the Navy for 20 years. My wife was in the Marine Corps for 22 years. So we're going to do a special award for, I was on 4 different ships, and 2 auxiliary ships, an amphibious assault ship, and an aircraft carrier. So best amphibious assault ship, amphib, or auxiliary ship, U.S. Navy. John Fluck is doing best Marine Corps subject. It's any Marine Corps subject, right, John?
Yes, anything that has it could be a helicopter with Marines on it. It could be just about anything, as long as it has to do with the Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps.
Round 2 is sponsoring a best round 2 kit. Best, I think they say best use of a round 2 kit, and they're going to judge it, and they're going to have an award for that. So any of the AMT or Polar Lights, or the stuff that's in the round 2 family will qualify for that. a guy named Adam David Stevenson out of Texas called me, and he actually won the Red, White, and Blue All-American Red, White, and Blue Award at Madison.
Stevenson, Adam
And
David
he
Stevenson.
told me he wanted to give back. You know, he enjoyed it so much, he wanted to give back. So he's doing another All-American Red, White, and Blue, and he's, you know, got a trophy for that.
Awesome.
And so, and we got one more too, and I got top of my head, I can't think of what it is.
Best Indy car.
Oh, Best Indy car, yes. IPMS Roscoe Turner out of Indianapolis is doing the Best Indy car, and that's any Indy car from any era, or a pace car, Indy pace car. Any of those will be eligible. So we got 10 special awards plus, you know, all the normal awards.
Very cool. And all this information, guys, that we've been talking about tonight is available at ipmsnationals.org. You can see that's the page that I pull up from time to time tonight. But in the contest area, you can see this is the special categories we're looking at. You can see the rules. You can see the full category list, which is quite long. There's all sorts of categories that get pretty specific. So
are they up to 200 categories now or beyond it?
It's 209 categories plus splits. I think 226 possible.
Because I think Madison, we only had like 198 or something like that, and then splits beyond that. But
yeah, well, it's about time. But they actually made Gunpla its own class.
Excellent, fantastic.
So, yeah.
One thing that we didn't mention at all, John, are there any events or tours that the guys need to plan to make sure to not miss?
I'm a little disappointed because I thought we had a couple of really cool tours, but they just didn't sell. We ended up having to cancel. But the baseball park is right across the street from the convention center. They're going to have baseball games there every night. We did have 50 seats. Down right on the third base line. Between home plate and third base, right on the field. The tickets were normally $17 a piece. We got them for $14 a piece. So we sold 50 of those at $14 a piece. Those went real fast.
Okay.
But there's still more, $17. That's not, for it's a great.
You pay that for a beer at a major league park.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would, even if you're not a car guy, make some time to go up to the Auburn Core Duesenberg Museum. It's half an hour north of us. It's, Nora and I are museum people. That's one of our things. One of the reasons we came to Fort Wayne, it ticked off our box on museums. And we went up there. The first time we went up there, I thought, we'll go up and see a couple of cars, a couple of cool cars. I was just amazed. They've got over 100 cars there in a 1930, I think it was built in the 20s, 29 or 30. Big Art Deco building with terrazzo floors, big grand staircase. E.L. Cord built this, and it's just beautiful. And they've got 3 levels with cars on them. And Nora and I, the first time we went there, we spent 4 hours there, and between the two of us, we took over 1,500 pictures. I was taking pictures of tail lights and gas caps, and the mirrors that are leather strapped to the spare mirrors. It's just such a great place, and I would encourage everyone to consider going up there. The other one that we had canceled, the Auburn Core Duesenberg Automotive Museum. Yeah.
Yes,
and we're going to have a concierge table right up front. So if you're looking for something to do, a place to eat, something like that, come up, see the concierge. My table is going to be right there. Steve and I will be sitting right there next to him when I'm not running around with my hair on fire. But the other one that we had canceled that I would, again, recommend is, I'd never heard of, I'm not a musician. Okay, I love music, but I'm not a musician. I'd never heard of Sweetwater before I moved to Fort Wayne. But everyone I talk to who knows how to play any kind of instrument will say, "Oh yeah, I know them. They're like the Amazon for musical for anything, you know, pertaining to music." And their headquarters is here. It's a $1 billion company, and it's right in Little Fort Wayne. And it's about a, I don't know, 15-minute drive out there, and the facility is just fantastic. They've got a mall there that has got stores, kind of where the first one's got 100 electric guitars in it. Then the second one's got like 100 acoustic guitars, and they've got little booths where you can take the guitars out and play them and hear them. Then the next one is all pianos, grand pianos down to keyboards, everything else. Then band instruments and stringed instruments and woodwinds, and they've got sound equipment, mics and mixers and all this stuff. And it's an amazing place. So even though we don't have the tour anymore, if a family is, looking for something to do, mom and the kids, and they're interested in music, it would just be a great place to go.
Where am I going to spend more money, in the vendor room or over at Sweetwater?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know, about a dozen guitars here now. So,
all right.
There's room for more.
There's always room for more guitars. Yeah, it's just
there you go. Well, guys, what else do we need to know to get ready? Because we are a little over a month away. Is all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess
About 5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what else can any of you leave us with, or what did you forget, or what else do you want to mention?
I forgot to mention one thing. It has nothing to do with the volunteers, but we have, which I think is the first time for any national convention, we have a professional model photographer who's going to be there. It's going to cost you a few bucks to have your model photographed, but this guy is phenomenal. He's come to our club a number of times. He's got his own website or whatever. You can check out his name and everything on the convention website. But it's going to be real cool if you want to have your models professionally photographed.
Nice.
That's with backgrounds, with backdrops, with scenery, lighting, all sorts of different options there. So, for example, if you want your aircraft in flight, he'll put a background for that for you, with your cars, like in a cityscape or something like that. And, the man does phenomenal work.
Can he Photoshop out all the errors on my kits?
It's a digital picture, yeah.
That scene doesn't exist. It's gone. That fingerprint in the paint doesn't exist. It's gone.
Right, but his name, I believe, is Kevin Epling.
Yes,
and you can find him. Like I said, he's got his own website and whatnot. Super phenomenal guy.
Yeah, he posted something recently up on the Facebook page, which if you haven't gone to the Facebook page, I've been trying to put up for like over a year now. I've been trying to put up, like, since we're not doing a banquet, there's like 60 places to eat within walking distance of the convention center. Anything from Ruth's Chris to Arby's and everything in between. Right. So I've been trying to highlight some of those places and put them up there. DeBrand Chocolates, anyone that went to Madison and saw our bid, we passed out a couple of hundred of those chocolates. And, I tell people all the time, I'm not going to tell you they're the best chocolates I've ever eaten, but I don't ever remember. They're just amazing, world-class chocolates. And that they do tours there also. That's another place for families to go. And one of the things when we first started this, Nora, my wife, was adamant that she wanted to have, places for the families to go. So there's the zoo. It's I don't know, 5-minute drive from downtown. It's one of the best zoos in the country. There's Science Central for kids. It's an old power plant that they've converted into a kids science museum, and it's like you could walk from downtown. It's a little bit farther, a little bit of a walk, but it's like a 2 or 3 minute drive. So there's just so many things. There's a genealogy center right across the street from the at the library, at the main library downtown, and it's the second largest genealogy center in the country, second only to Salt Lake City.
Wow.
They've got millions of volumes on site that you can pull and go through and research. And they have people there that can help you do your research, So it's kind of cool stuff. There's a lot of things to do downtown. There's some museums. There's a firefighters museum. The Fort Wayne Art Museum is right there. There's live theater downtown at in the evenings. Every Wednesday night over at the Embassy Theater, they do a summer nights. It's $5. You go and they have somebody playing music there, and a caterer there that has got a shortened menu, abbreviated menu, but you get something to eat. You can buy drinks, listen to music. They got a dance floor. Just a nice place to unwind.
Okay, very neat. Now, one of our guys is asking what the Facebook page is. If you go to Facebook and just type in IPMS Fort Wayne, you're going to see this page come up, and this is their private group. So join that. They'll be happy to accept your request.
You need to answer 3 questions. It's I don't know why, but that's the way it is. But they're very simple questions. Like.
And one other thing I want to mention is some of our head judges on the IP. So the way the judging works, and we've talked about this before, guys, but the Fort Wayne crew doesn't actually supply the judges. The IPMS national organization brings their own board of judges, and some of those guys hang out with us every Wednesday night. Frank Landris wants us to mention that the head judges will be manning tables in the contest room for any contestant to come and ask questions about their models Saturday morning. Judging takes place Friday night. By the time you get there Saturday morning, the judges will be ready to tell you the good, bad, and ugly about your model. If you've got a question of how you can improve things, the judges will show you this is what we look for, and give you advice and help you to potentially build your models better in the future.
And all IPMS members can volunteer to be a judge.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, if you are not a judge, you can be. Friday night, I don't know what time it's at, but Friday evening, early evening, they have a judges meeting. The only requirement for you to come be a judge, there's 3 requirements. First of all, you're an IPMS member. Second of all, you have an interest in judging. You want to judge. And third, you show up at the judges meeting Friday night. The judges
which
meeting
is mandatory.
It's mandatory because what happens is they tell you in, I don't know, half an hour or give or take, how we do things. And then they give you your little ticket to get into the judges room that night. And as long as you've got that ticket, that tells the security guard at the door that you have been to the training session, and you will be assigned to a team of judges who have done it for years and years and years. So you don't have to worry about being by yourself. They will teach you what to do, and it's a heck of a lot of fun. And in my personal experience, there is no better way to become a better modeler yourself than to go judge at the IPMS National. You learn things that you didn't even realize you needed to learn.
Very funny story.
And you'll meet people from all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny story at Madison. I was obviously the convention chairman, and I went into the contest room during judging, and the security guard wouldn't let me in because I didn't have a ticket.
Yep.
And I said, "It's my show."
and he said, "I don't care." Jeff, you just froze on us. Oh, okay, now you're back, Jeff.
We're back.
If you could see how you just froze, it was hilarious. It was something like this.
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
I want to put another plug in. It was mentioned at one of our meetings. I know a lot of modelers have cross hobbies, and one of those other hobbies is photography. I don't know if it's the journal team or the folks that are taking pictures of the models for the slideshow for the award ceremony. They need volunteer photographers. There is a little bit of an incentive to be a photographer, and I'm not going to release that information right now. But if there's anybody out there that enjoys taking pictures and can cough up a couple hours to take pictures of models, it would be a great volunteer slot to fill.
And it's on the volunteer website. So go to the volunteer website and pick that.
Yeah, Brad, you have mentioned that a couple of times. I'm going to pull that up here on the website over here on the volunteers tab.
Yes.
Here is kind of the list of things, the main list, I guess we should say, of some of the things that they need volunteers for.
Yeah. And if once you hit the startup, it will tell you what is still available and open and what's full.
Okay. All right.
Brad, were you going to have a standby for if somebody didn't show up, they could
volunteers
that aren't assigned have a place to go?
We have every day, we have backups, signed backups, which I don't think they've ever had at any other conventions, but we also have procedures in place. Tony's my assistant. We have procedures in place to call the presidents of the chapters in case one of those guys doesn't show up, and because it's a money issue, the chapter president has first shot of giving me a substitute. Other than that, I look for a gold shirt.
There you go. All right, well, guys, have we missed anything, or are we just going to look forward to the next few weeks as we count down coming up to your neck of the woods?
Well, Brandon, you've looked at the website here a couple of times, pretty solid. And, I want to give a shout out to our webmaster, Chris.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of information there that has not been there in history. It's a little bit more interactive. And, I just want to give a shout out. That guy's sole purpose in life was to put a website together for this convention that would be not only user friendly, but easy to use and something somebody would want to go back to.
Okay.
So, and like I said, you were able to pull up those pages pretty quick. The information's not hard to find.
Good deal.
So
Yeah.
just a quick shout out to him because, again, yeoman's work for making that happen.
Yep. And IPMSnationals.org is that website.
And Brandon, we just all want to say again, we thank you guys to the bottom of our hearts, the support that Squadron's shown us, since we got the vote for this 2 years ago.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We do support the show. We support you guys, and we've been looking forward to it ever since you got the bid. And I kind of can't believe that it's just a few weeks away.
Yeah.
We can't either.
I know. It seems like yesterday that it was announced that you guys were going to be hosting in 26, and
yep,
and here we are. So
yeah.
There was one question up there that I don't think we actually answered. Was on the models themselves, when was the registration cutting off for those? I believe that goes right up till a week or two before, isn't it?
No. The way that it's a two-step process right now. You can go up on our website and go to registration, and it'll say your models. And you can there's two sections. There's my collection and my registration. You can put whatever you want in your collection. You're not going to see anything for categories or anything like that. You just put your model name in, the manufacturer, the scale, that kind of stuff. Then when you can move it over to your registration page, and there you'll have a list of all the categories to enter it in and do, fill out the rest of that. So you can do that all the way up until, I don't want to say right up until Friday night, but up until the convention starts at least, we're still going to be having people doing that. So there's, I don't know off the top of my head, I don't want to say it. I'd have to talk with the NCC, the National Contest Committee, but for certain, all the way up to Thursday night, you'll be able to pull models out or put them into your registration. So you don't have to have it all done to register, to pre-register for the convention. I guess that's the bottom line.
Yeah. If you know you're going to have it done, go ahead and get pre-registered. It'll help you and it'll help the guys at the convention. All right. Well, guys, I really appreciate you being here tonight. This was a lot of good information. I know I'm excited about the show. I hope that several other guys are now excited about it. And like I said, just a few weeks away.
And if anyone's got any questions, my email's up there on the website. Shoot me an email and we'll get you some answers, whatever it is.
Absolutely. And guys, when I take your videos off the screen here, if you want to hang out for a couple of minutes, as soon as I end the show, I'd love to speak with you again before we say goodnight. So again, guys, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you again in just a few weeks.
Thanks, guys. See you
Very
soon.
much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Well, Jeff, it's going to be here before we know it. So I guess
it's amazing. These guys were saying it was like, it seems like it was only yesterday that they got the bid. And I talk about Madison like it happened last week.
Yeah, but it was like 3 years ago.
It's like 2 years ago. Yeah. And then another 2 years beyond. It was 4 years ago. Yeah. Because it was Virginia. And
you got the bid 3 years ago, though, or
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
It all runs
scary.
together. Yeah.
It's just a big blur. And now I'm in the private sector, so.
Well, the crazy thing is, we always know 2 years in advance what the shows are. And then we all know that it's in Huntsville next year. We're going to blink our eyes and we're going to be having this same exact conversation a year from now with the Huntsville guys. It's
crazy.
It goes fast, but it's a lot of fun. And I really hope, I know a lot of you guys that watch us every week, several of you have emailed us over the past few weeks saying that, hey, I'm coming to the show this year. It's going to be my first nationals. And I'm very excited to hear that, because it really is. If you're a modeler, if you love models, it's so cool being surrounded by literally thousands of other modelers that love this stuff just like we do.
You are surrounded by your people. Yeah,
exactly. Everybody, I forget which one of the guys said it, but maybe it was Brad. It's everybody speaks our language. And and there's also, give or take 3,000 models in the contest room to look at, not including the tiger meet. Right. So it's just going to be a lot of fun. So I hope some of you guys that have never been to a national get to experience it this year. I really, really think that you'll love it.
And I think some congratulations are in order to you as well.
Why?
Well, you have officially retired L Rust Bucket pickup truck. I heard you got yourself a new pickup truck.
Yeah.
Congratulations for retiring that ancient Civil War relic.
Yes, I suppose that is an accurate way to describe it.
Brandon, for those of you who didn't know, Brandon was still driving one of the very first steam-powered pickup trucks ever developed.
Okay, come on. It wasn't that old.
It looked like it.
Yeah, it did. It's worked. I bought it brand new.
Yeah,
it's lasted, but it will be nice to not wonder if I'm going to make it to work in the morning.
Yeah, or climb out the passenger door, or be able to put the window down.
Okay, come on. If we're going to go down the whole list, we're going to be here another hour.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hey, at least if you put it in the ditch in the wintertime, you can get yourself out, unlike a certain knucklehead with a Camaro.
That's true. All right, Jeff. Well, let's get out of here, and we'll do it again next week.
Back at it tomorrow, and I'm really excited for this nationals, even more than any of the others that I've gone to, because we have, as you said earlier when we came on, we have so much really cool stuff that's coming that we want to talk about, but we can't, or we shan't, because we've made that promise that we're not going to talk about it until it's here.
Yep.
But lots of new stuff coming in, lots of containers coming in with great stuff leading up to the national convention, and lots of really cool, just 101 little things going on that are going to be really cool stuff.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we'll get to it, buddy. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Yep. Guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you. I hope you got some good information, and I hope that you decide to come to Fort Wayne. We will see you there in just a few weeks. But until then, we'll see you here again next Wednesday night, same place, same time. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see you soon.